Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to see all of your bright, shiny faces. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest club in the... All right, we have an invocation from Chris today.
All right, I found this one online. I think it was written by another Rotarian from a different club, but I liked it. Will you please bow your heads with me? Let us pray silently together, each one of us according to our individual beliefs. Let us offer thanks for our food, blessings for one another. Let us be a source of hope for those in need and contentment for those who are lonely. Let us give gratitude for our opportunity to serve Rotary. Let the feelings of love, kindness, and well-directed yet gentle spirit always be reflected in our actions. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Josh has got the song again this week.
All right. I just told Steve, I got to think of a song. So let's sing God Bless America. I like that one. So that's always a good one. All right. God bless America. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with fall. God bless America, my own sweet. God bless America, my own sweet home.
Nice job. We should start our own little choir. Okay, do we have any visiting Rotarians? We do.
I'd like to introduce again Lisa Marie Dean, visiting Rotarian from California. She is my administrative officer who handles all the business aspects in the park.
All right, welcome, Lisa. Do we have any other visiting Rotarians? How about guests of Rotarians? Oh.
I somehow suspect I'm going to have to pay. I'd like to introduce everybody to a great friend of mine, Scott Schuyler. I heard his name announced a few weeks ago as a speaker in the museum, I think this weekend. And I thought, wow, I think Scott should come and meet people personally. Scott's ancestors actually were the original stewards of what is now North Cascades National Park. And so we have a very meaningful relationship as he sort of keeps me honest, particularly as we're in these negotiations with Seattle City Light, right? Scott is always there to make sure that we don't let cheap energy for residents of Seattle get in the way of fish here, culture here, flood control here in the Skagit Valley. He's been a real partner, and behind the scenes, I don't know how many of you know about this, but Scott played a huge role in making sure that fish passage was part of the Baker project. And that's done wonders for bringing that fishery back. We talked a little bit about that the other day too. So it's great to have you here, Scott.
Welcome, Scott.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Again, I'm Scott Schuyler. I'm the policy rep for the Upper Skagit, lifelong Sedro Woolley resident. Went to Sedro Woolley High, Skagit Valley College many, many years ago. And again, it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope to meet all of you someday. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Scott's going to be speaking this weekend at the Sedro Woolley Museum to unveil the new exhibit they have. So if you have time on Saturday, check it out. Do we have any other guests? Okay, next Thursday on the 24th, the school district is hosting the resources, reading and resources on the field. And I think I had mentioned last week that we are going to be handing out tickets. Rotary is going to be providing $5 books, up to $5 books for 400 students. And I have a team that is going to help me. So if anybody else really wants to join us, you're welcome to, but I think right now we have it handled. But if you want to come and check it out, it should be a really good community back to school event. And then also as a reminder, there's not a noon meeting on the 31st. We'll be at Barley and Brew for an evening social. Bring an appetizer, bring your dog, bring your spouse, come play cornhole. And the first beverage is on me. So I hope to see you guys there on the 31st. And then also, I don't know if anyone's here to talk about the golf tournament or the barbecue, but those are both coming up in September. Golf tournament on September 7th and the barbecue is on the 14th. So check with Nick for information on the golf tournament and Josh for information on the barbecue. So lots of fun stuff coming up. Now I'm going to hand the mic over to Yulia because we have anniversaries to celebrate.
Here you go, Yulia.
Thank you. Is it working or do I need to? Okay, great. So this is a prolific month as far as anniversaries go. I'll give you a few that were not able to make it, but we still wish them a very happy anniversary. What a special event in this month. We've got Jaden Justin, who got married in August, and Mark and Sue Van, and Jeffrey and Kim McCann. And let me see. I am needing those glasses now. Rick and Sherry. So they were not able to make it. And Kyle and Sarah are also celebrating their anniversary this month. And he's at the meeting in Seattle. So work commitments. But we are fortunate to have quite a few couples who were able to make it, or at least one representative of the couple. And so I am going to need some help. Sandy, would you mind, please? Let's give out these beautiful roses. Thank you. So we've got someone who has the anniversary day right today. Guess who? John and Sylvia.
Yeah, we're celebrating our 43rd anniversary today. We've got one daughter and one grandson, and we're having fun. We're going to head to Europe again here in next week, so it'll be fun.
How old is the grandson?
2 in September.
2 in September. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. Please give our hugs to Sylvia. Thank you. Well, we've got a whole table full of anniversary people. Yes, Danny, time to put your bag away. And yes. Tell us a little bit about you.
Michael and I, Michael's in Ohio, celebrated our 12th anniversary on Sunday, the 13th. We have 2 boys and yeah, he's in Ohio, but he got to come home. So 8 and 10.
Fantastic. Happy anniversary, Danny. Okay. And yes, we've got Rich and Betta. And thank you so much for making it today. It's a pleasure to have you. Yeah, he's used to the mic.
Hi. Yes, we've been married for 35 years. We have 2 boys, I have a stepdaughter, and we have 2 grandchildren, 3 and 1, and 3/4 of another one.
Thank you so very much. You look very anniversary-ish, like. And so let me see. So we've got Rich, John, and okay. So one upcoming anniversary. They haven't celebrated it yet because it's on the 20th, right? Did I get my numbers right? Phil and Tamara. Happy anniversary, you guys.
This is number 40. We have 2 girls. One lives in San Francisco, the other one down south in the Buckley area. 2 grandkids, grandson is 8 and granddaughter that is 6. And we'll be celebrating on a cruise to Alaska going up the Inside Passage.
Happy anniversary, guys. Thank you so much. It's always so much fun to have couples come to the Rotary meeting on the anniversary Thursday. Happy anniversary. One more round of applause for them, please.
All right, and did Mike piss Lisa off? Do you need to buy this rose? Is it too far? He's such an easy mark.
Mike should always buy Lisa roses.
I trust you.
Okay, do we have any other club business or announcements? Brock, let's get him a mic.
You're just in the nick of time.
Is this on? I'm taking over for Nick since he's off on a vacation somewhere. So sign up sheet for the golf tournament. A lot of people, looks like we got about 12 teams so far, so that's great. But if you wanted to sign up for dinner, the barbecue starts probably around, I don't know, 6:30 or so. But golf starts anytime in the afternoon that you can make it out there, sooner the better. So I'm going to pass this around. Please sign up. And that is for September 7th out at Overlook. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brock. All right, Sandra, do we have a raffle?
Do we raffle first?
Do we
I
raffle?
think we got one more announcement.
Oh,
Helping Hands is partnering with Marathon on next Saturday for the Stuff the Bus that's in Mount Vernon at Radius Church. They've already raised $25,000 to go to feeding our kids that come to Helping Hands. So if you would like to volunteer or come and drop off food, let me know. And sorry, I have 2 announcements. We have our biggest fundraiser on September 30th at the museum, Heritage Flight Museum. Our special guest this year is Jay Buhner. He was a Mariner. So we have an event in the morning for kids, and I'm looking for some Rotarians to come help make hot dogs and hang out at the food bank. So if you would like to do that, let me know. And that's on the 30th of September.
all right. We're good. We're good
Ready
now, I
for the
think.
raffle?
We're good. We're ready to raffle.
We're ready to raffle, guys. Are you ready to raffle? I need a little more enthusiasm. Guys, we've got beer, IPA. I've got a 19 Crimes Rosé. It looks like Snoop. And I've got a Chardonnay. And of course, you can take your chances on the wheel. 32. It's rigged. Okay. Is it one at a time or both shirts? And the coffee cup? Okay. It's a shirt that says Pacific Rim Tonewoods. Ah, very cool. Very cool. Keep them straight. Ooh, is that a 9 or a 6? Oh, it's a B. Well, they're both Bs. It's a 6. This is the winning table. The rest of you can go home. Taking his chances. I'm afraid to look. It says all Paul Harris Award winners in attendance need to pay $2. All you Paul Harris winners. That's a really rough one. Mark, can you run around and pick up money for me? You're a good man. And the final winner is number 25. Is it at this table? 25. Is it Becky? I'll give you this back.
Yay.
Take the Snoop. I would take the Snoop. Oh, she's going for the Chardonnay. We're having an intervention for Becky after this meeting for anybody who wants.
Are we having an intervention or are we gonna have like wine
It's
and?
an intervention.
Okay, Okay,
Yeah, air
we're gonna
quotes.
help her with her
We're
wine.
gonna help her with her wine.
Okay. Are we good?
Yes.
We've raffled everything.
We raffled.
We're going to hand the mic over to Eric. He's gonna find some people.
I love this.
So today we're going to start out with the individuals online. We're going to ask them a question and they can collectively chat together but not too long because I don't want you using your computers to figure out the question. So there are 2 birth flowers in August. Name one of them.
They're online. They can Google it.
See if we got any. No, that's incorrect. You guys need to Venmo money. So the 2 flowers are gladiolas and crimson poppy. So this table, I know you guys probably know, there's a lot of holidays in August or things celebrated on different days. August 5th. What is the national day for August 5th? That would be wrong. It's National Underwear Day. Go Commando. So, and I promise that I didn't pass these questions through my wife here so she wouldn't know what to answer. So, what was invented on August 6th, 1762? But it only happened in August. Fine. Final answer? No, the sandwich. All right. Let's see, who do we have here? What ancient national disaster occurred on August 24th? Natural. Did I say national? Natural disaster. I'm going to give you one more try. That is correct. Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius. All right. You guys will probably get this one. I'm gonna bet Phil has the answer to this one. What famous speech was delivered on August 28th? Tick tock, tick tock. Incorrect. MLK. And for the final question. Oh, no. What is the birthstone of August? Well, we need an answer. You would be correct. All right, that's it.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Happy Bucks. Eric, are you doing Happy Bucks too, or Sandra and Chris? Who's happy? Look at all those happy faces out there.
Somebody's got to be happy.
I'm $3 happy because that's all I have left. But I have about 400 people from outside, from our region, helping to fight the fire up in the park. So it's super cool to have these folks roll in and lend a hand.
Yes. Feels like that should be more than $3, just saying. Come on, happy people. Come on. It's hot in here. We can do this.
I have a happy 20. One, because Board of Equalization is done for the year. Woo-hoo. And we went on our live auction item with Sailing with Phil. And now my husband is Googling how to buy a boat, which is awesome. And it was the best trip. It was amazing and had a great meal, great company, and it was well worth it. So thank you.
Fantastic. Yep.
So we're going to do this together. So, and we're going to Venmo how much?
$40.
Okay. So, as a lot of you know, our son got married this past weekend. It was a beautiful marriage, and I'm absolutely thrilled and excited to announce I'm only going to do half of this. We have a beautiful daughter-in-law, and
We have a new grandson, 8-year-old boy by the name of Lakin, and we're very, very excited about that.
first grandson.
Yay. What's that? Your dad? Oh, you're happy whether you know it or not. If you're happy and you know it.
I guess I am happy. You must be talking about my cruise. We went on a cruise up to Alaska. The Alaska cruise, I guess that was almost 3 weeks ago now. Beautiful trip. We weren't able to do a lot of the excursions off the boat because it wasn't a lot that was wheelchair compatible, but it was a nice trip. Foggy and rainy, nothing too much we couldn't stand to get out and do some shopping anyway. So it was good. A nice surprise. We got back. We both ended up with COVID, but
You're healthy and you're happy. So I'm happy about that too. I'll throw in another $2.
Oh, come on, people.
Well, I have a happy 20 because it was really great to see so many people at the fair last week. Actually, I guess it's a happy sad because I lost the really cool Rotary pin that Chris gave me at the fair when I was trying to give my son a shoulder ride. So it made him happy, but then it made me sad when I lost my pin. And then after this, I'm scooting out to go to Avalon to golf for the kids for the Evergreen Booster Club golf tournament. So we're raising a bunch of money for field trips, and I'm excited to go and pretend to golf this afternoon. So.
All right. See, they're still coming.
Yep, I have a happy 10. Happy that my daughter just recently got hired at Country Meadows, so it's really exciting. And happy that we're going to be going to the Seahawks football game this weekend, so looking forward to that.
Can I have just a second, Christine? I'm going to Venmo $100 to our club that I'm hoping somehow or other people will match or put in some money that we can maybe send to Maui. I don't know, somebody smarter than me that's done speaking, they've got to have Rotary clubs over there that we can get the money to. So I just want you to know that's what I'm going to do. If you guys need help with your Venmo, I can show you how to do it. If you don't have a Venmo account, I can help you do that, or you can just reach in your wallet and put some money out. but I do think it's a really good cause. And if you want to donate to Maui, let's do that, you guys. I'm passing a hat. Scott? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you related to Tanya Thompson? I know your cousin Scott. I'm looking at him and I'm like, that's cousin Scott. Yes, sir.
I'll be happy again. Happy that the fair is over. Spent the week with my youngest son showing chickens. My oldest, unfortunately, who had a pig and a steer at the fair, was sick the entire fair. So he didn't get to show, which means he wasn't eligible to sell. So if anybody would like to buy a steer, contact me.
I have a big field in my backyard. Oh, I'm a vegetarian, Stephen. I'm going back. Is
Okay. So I'm going to introduce today's speaker. Today's speaker is Eric Warner, and he's from Pacific Rim Tonewoods. I didn't know a lot about his company until one of my employees, Allie Cameron, left us to go work for him. And so I looked it up at that time, and I wow, what an interesting company. And good for Allie. It's a really neat company, and they do some really interesting things, kind of like we do, Janaki, right here in the valley, right here in our own backyard. So Eric has been with Pacific Rim Tonewoods for almost 30 years, 1994. Must have started right out of high school. He's the general manager, and I think he's been in this club before to talk about what they do. It's been quite a long time though, so maybe only a few of you were here. So I'm really, really looking forward to this presentation. And let's let Eric tell us all about what he does and what their company does. Eric Warner.
Real quick, I'll show you what a guitar looks like so we're on the same page. You have to use this the whole time, right? Because people are watching. But, so thank you, Josh, and it was nice to meet you. And Allie's working out great. So, you have any other employees that we can have? So, I grew up in New Halem, moved up there in 1981. So I'm familiar with the national park because that's where I lived. I went to Concrete High School, got married, started working in 1994 when I graduated, and my daughter was born, who works for me now in 1994. Now I live in Clear Lake and drive up to Birdsview, and I'm a captain on the Clear Lake department. I guess I work for John Matter in there, right? You're still the commissioner, but so Pacific Rim Tonewoods is up in Birdsview. We cut wood for acoustic guitars. Taylor Guitars is one of our big customers, Martin Guitars, Gibson, Fender. We don't make guitars. A lot of people will tour the facility and come away thinking we make guitars. We don't. We just sell the components, mainly the soundboard, the spruce soundboard, the bracing inside, and then we cut back and sides for the guitar, and then the binding that covers that. And I'll kind of take you through on a slideshow, and we can move as fast or as slow as you want, but you want to be out of here in 20 minutes or less, right? And this is just soundboarding and pass around. It kind of shows the inner workings of a guitar in spruce. And you just hit the clicker. So Pacific Rim Tonewoods, Sitka spruce grows along the Pacific Rim there, kind of from Northern California all the way up to Southeast Alaska. And then as you go up the pass here, it turns into Engelmann spruce, white spruce in the higher elevations in Canada. Steve McMinn, who founded the company and started it, his dad worked for Crown Zellerback out in CQ, the Olympic Peninsula out there. And those are pretty big spruce logs back in the day that were logged there. But we're up here in Birdsview, the old Vandergrift Shake and Shingle Mill. Steve moved up there in 1990, 92 range and ended up purchasing that. But we have 35 employees there. We cut maybe 300,000 guitar tops a year to send out to mainly North American manufacturers. That's our crew there with the building we got a permit for. So those are some of our customers on our website. Most of the guitars that are being manufactured in America, the soundboard and the brace wood is coming from Birdsview, Washington. And so that's pretty cool. But we do have customers in Australia and Europe and China and Japan. We select spruce logs up in mainly British Columbia now. It used to be up in Alaska, but those logs are being harvested by First Nations, native corporations, or just landowners, and we're going up and selecting what's adequate for our product. This is up in northern British Columbia, where it's a pile of Lutz spruce that we're looking through to select logs. That's a younger tree. They're 107 years. When I first started working, we were working with wood that was 400 to 600 years old, and now we're down to 300-year-old. But some of the younger species of Lutz is 107 years old, which allows us to get a top from a younger tree, which is a good thing. It's more sustainable that way. Transporting the log to the deck saw. There's some videos here. Maybe it doesn't work with this pointer, but anyway, we set that log up to the mill and we're cutting rounds, which are about the height of that guitar top there. And then the splitter man splits those into blocks. And he's splitting perfectly quartered wedges, kind of like spokes on a bicycle wheel. He's driving that wedge down, and then within each log, there's defects and knots and firewood and stuff to work around. There's pieces that won't make the soundboard, so it'll become bracewood in the inside of the guitar. That's a split right on a growth ring, so there'll be bracewood made from the outside of that ring there. And then those blocks get cut up. We inseal them. Trees are like giant vegetables. As soon as you harvest them, they want to decay and decompose. So you want to prevent that from happening for as long as you can until they're in a board form, and then you can dry them. Spruce is stronger than steel for its weight. There's a lot of fiber integrity in spruce, so you can, when on quarter, it's at its stiffest point, and so you can sand that down and tap at it, and it can withstand the 160 pounds of tension from guitar strings, but also resonate well. And then Derek here is taking those blocks and cutting those blocks into boards that are perfectly quartered. So he has to turn the log when he does that. And that is kind of a visual of what he's extracting out. How's this laser pointer work, Eric? Just the green button there. There we go. Perfect. So you can see he's got guitar top boards here as he turns the block, and in between he's capturing bracewood, and then there's little waste in between that. And so a normal sawmill might just slice through a log for maximum yield, and we're looking at quality. That board gets edged, and then we put it in the kiln to dry, and then we resaw that board into guitar tops, and about the thickness you see on that prop that's headed around the room there. And then there's Kylie. She grades all the wood now, and there's defects that show up in the wood. So the guitar I have here is a dreadnought sized guitar, and there are smaller guitars based on being a student guitar, but usually because you, as a guitar maker, you have lots of leftover wood that is not as big, so you want to utilize that wood, and so we're drawing patterns around wood. For the brace wood, we'll do all the same process and dry, but that'll get resawn and ripped, and then we'll send out bundles like this. So those are 12-inch pieces that are 12 inches long, 2 inches wide, 3/4 thick, and used to be worth more than a 2x4, but I don't know what a 2x4 is nowadays, but it's, those are $250 a piece. So we'll ship a pallet of 4,800 on a pallet, and we might ship 800,000 pieces of bracewood this year to Martin and Taylor guitars. So a lot of added value there, and that's what it looks like inside the guitar. Some other products are binding, which we're cutting on the fadal there. Arthur is cutting it, and that's usually an appointment that goes on the edge of the guitar, or the purfling that goes around the sound hole of the guitar. We thermally modify wood, where you're treating the wood without the presence of oxygen, and through that you decrease the density and increase the stiffness, and it won't shrink and expand anymore because there's not really any water in the wood, and guitar builders like that. That's the kiln that we do that in. We also have alder logs that we buy for veneer. And then when I started working there, we would just we'd cut wood the right way, and we would grade it cosmetically. And so you would buy a guitar top based on the appearance. But in all species, there's variability, and we started measuring wood, and now we're starting to sell wood based off the sonic profile of that top. So we can give the end user the density, the stiffness, but also the cue, how long something resonates for, and then they can optimize their guitar and their design for that. But it also allows us to use other wood that might be less desirable cosmetically, but it's still suitable sonically for that. And so we have a lab. This is our old lab, but we have inventory in that. That just kind of shows you the variability in stiffness and density. But there's red spruce, Lut spruce, and Sitka, so it's all over the map. And so when you build a guitar, I don't know, are there any guitar players here? There's the mayor's a guitar player. That might help your campaign. We can get you sponsored. And people will go into a guitar store and they'll pick up 4 guitars that are made on the same day, but only one of them sounds really nice, and that's the one that sells. And it's usually because the properties in the wood aren't working together, or they're working against. And so by measuring that and knowing what's what, you can start to optimize your design and stuff. So we did research with all of that. I built a number of guitars down in California where I put kits together and at the factory and built those, and then we had players play them and give us their opinion, but then we sent them over to the Technical University in Dresden, Germany, and had this lady play those guitars, and then they played back those audio clips to a panel of listeners, and because we had to figure out what does high stiffness and low density mean in a guitar build, so you wanted a control for everything for that. And so that was a big research time for us in Q. Q is Q is damping, so how long something resonates for. So these are just some pictures from that project. And then big leaf maple, that's my guitar there. And so that has figure on the back. Maple grows locally, and I'll pass this piece around. This tree was harvested in Ferndale, but underneath the bark of a maple tree, if it's figured, you can see these ridges that go back and forth. When you saw that, you're sawing those hills and valleys down, and so the light reflects differently. And so this is a piece of maple that is figured, and we sell a lot of maple for backs and sides of guitars, but also for electric guitars. But we're also, one of the projects we're doing is we're propagating figured maple trees because we believe it's genetic. And so we'll go back to the parent tree and select sprouts from that and then root those cuttings at our nursery. So these are just some pictures of figured maple. That's quilted maple. So you can see the blisters under the bark, and then the pretty nice visual there when you flat saw that material. It pops. We're cutting that stuff on our sawmill and drying that in a vacuum kiln. And this sprout tree here is kind of something that launched the whole program, but you can see that figure is pretty prominent there. And a lot of that figured will become veneer, a lot of the maple and koa that we cut too. There's a stump that we planted, transplanted, and then picked sprouts off of it. And that's what happens in maple trees. And most of the time, Mike Janicki's trying to kill maples on the hillside. So it's on the decline, and the maple grows in the riparian areas. But we're growing it, and Mike's been to our site there in Utopia. So there's some pictures of that. And we're also tissue culturing some where you start the trees in a Petri dish and you have to clean it, but you can scale up plants a lot faster that way. That's at Utopia there. And that's the Utopia site where we have test trials going in, and we have a geneticist that we're working with, and he sets up the trials, keeps them robust, and then we measure everything every year. We have a site in Birdsview that we're doing this on too. And then in La Conner, we just signed a contract with Dave Headland to grow some trees on his land. So looks a little different than potatoes, and those are the different plantings at Utopia there. And then in Hawaii, we have a company with Taylor Guitars called Siglo Tonewoods, and we're over there harvesting wood. How are we doing on time? Okay. And that's on Maui, up on Haleakala Ranch there, where they had trees planted. I think it was called 1,000,000 Alohas. It was planted probably now 38 years ago, and they just weren't managed at all. So we harvested those and made guitars out of them, but used the proceeds to finance planting other trees and stuff. So we'll just buzz through here and see some pictures. There's Megan there, your relative. So she's helped us a lot. She's a nurse now, but we cut the lumber up and then grade it and cut it into backs and sides a little differently than tops. That's a figured koa tree, and those are seeds and sprouts that pop up out of the stump. And then all that stock goes to a nursery where Maui Native Nurseries, nursery we work for, and they actually had a fire pretty close to them, but I don't think they got hit at all. And that's kind of some visuals of the koa program. And we're also taking pictures. We'll go back to the stump, and you can see on that 30-year-old tree, the figure and the size and how big the sap was compared to the heartwood. And there's a reason we're doing this, because as both these trees are 30 years old, but this one is heartwood and a little bit of sap, which is desirable. And this one is all sap and heartwood. So we want to plant the right trees going forward, so we have stock that we can utilize. And then this is on the Big Island. We have 600 acres there that we're leasing and working with and replanting over there. We just have a building, and we'll have a sawmill over there in a couple years. And then this is the top of that property where we have the same, like we have maple trials here, we're also planting all these koa trials on this property. And then we are growing our own seed orchard over there, so we can basically provide ourselves with our own seed, but it's from stock that we want. And that's it in a nutshell. So did I make it in time? 1 o'clock. So Mike.
I have killed a lot of maple, but now that I can see the value of it, I've changed my ways. I mean, we're in a job right now that hopefully you guys are gonna get some maple off of,
Yeah,
it's
up in Rockport.
up at Rockport. I mean,
Yeah.
these trees, just didn't get cut and they're like 140 years old. And I guess there's some really good stuff in them. But first of all, I think it's just great what you guys do. And I didn't have a clue what these big logs were coming down Highway 9, and turning upriver. But those are all those big spruce you see on those log trucks going upriver. They're going to these guys. So it just gives you an idea how much volume they use. It's a pretty cool company to have in Birdsview. So thanks, and tell Steve hi.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and we do a lot of stuff with Janicky, scratch each other's backs and stuff because we're all in the same community. But yeah, and Mike's right, we do buy maple from him now. But generally, people will harvest that hillside. So the hardwood is a succession planting. So if you were to have a forest fire or cut that down, hardwood's going to come up next. But we're basically growing 2x4 and 4x4 gardens up on the hills, and so maple is on the decline. But we also, one of the maple project itself, we're trying to prove that concept that there's a higher value of forestry component that a person that had 5 acres or 10 acres or thousands of acres could incorporate into their management plan and utilize that. So
I have a question.
okay.
This feels like a long game though, right? You're cutting down a tree and then you're waiting for something to grow out of that tree. And then you're taking a little cutting of that and you're growing that in a lab somewhere else. So this is stuff that's all going to continue on and you'll be dead.
Well, hopefully not me, but Steve might. And a lot of this is Steve's vision or Bob Taylor's vision with the COA. And we're working with Kamehameha schools in Hawaii on their land.
But that's pretty cool that you're not
yeah.
just thinking about what I'm going to make money on today, but I'm planning for this art form to not go away.
Yeah.
So I just want to recognize that that's
Thank you.
pretty cool. Anybody else want a mic?
So I'm not really sure how to frame this question, but as far as the amount of product that you get out of a tree, so you must be able to produce umpteen guitars, or is that not the case? Does it depend on?
Yeah, so we'll buy logs just like a sawmill would, but if CR Pacific buys logs, they're going to buy it off a scale, and there's going to be deduct and their volume will increase. In Canada, you're paying for everything, all the volume of that log, even the bad stuff. But each log is different. You'll work around the defects and the sawyers will learn that log. And then some of that log might just be all bracewood because of what's in the log, and other logs will be more top wood. But yeah, it's all, we'll try to use, we only need 500 logs a year to meet our needs for our customers. But one of the things I didn't talk about is that guitar top is 2 pieces that are book matched together. We're working with Martin and Taylor now where guitars will start to be 4 pieces that are book matched or slip matched. And that allows you to use a lot smaller diameter tree. And the industry bucks it a little bit because it's outside the norm. But back in the day and after World War II, there was a lot of spruce rations, which affected whoever was utilizing spruce. And so they started to use 4-piece tops there because you could use a smaller tree. And Adirondack spruce used to be the main dominant spruce for guitars. And then they logged all that away. And so yeah, we need a small amount of trees. You never know what you're going to get out of a tree, but you're going to steer it to the right place in the process.
And then just one more question. What do you do with the excess? Where does that
A lot of our waste will get chipped for cogen and we'll sell that depending. That's a commodity around here or a nursery but it gets chipped and hauled away. And then people buy firewood from somebody that takes our wood away. So.
Thank you.
So I've got a question about the backs. Are they all veneers And are they veneered onto spruce or?
No, so the back is usually a hardwood, which would be
Oh,
maple
okay.
or koa or rosewood from India, mahogany. And then the top is solid spruce. Even in China, where they'll build a lot of lower price point instruments, the back will be a veneer back inside, but the top will still be a solid spruce. And then there's veneer everything after that point, but yeah. All right.
You don't make any of the necks for the guitars?
No.
And what are those usually? Do you know what they're?
Usually a neck is mahogany. For electric guitars, it's usually hard rock maple, Eastern maple. But yeah, no necks.
Do you cry when they smash the guitar on stage?
That's another sale, but
Well, that's true. His glass is half full, you guys.
well, so one of my friends, I will be back at Martin Guitars in a few weeks, but Michael Dickinson curates guitars for the Martin Museum, and Martin's been around since 1833. It's one of the oldest companies in America, and I think there was a movie where they lent a guitar out and they ended up breaking it, and that was probably worth crying over. But yeah, a lot of the older Martin guitars are highly sought after and extremely valuable. Not as valuable as the Stradivarius violin, but valuable.
I don't really have a question, but I kind of talked to you about this a little bit, Eric, before you got up there. But we put the pressure on Don when he spoke at our club to join. So you know where to find us. You know where to find me, right? So if you're ever interested in joining our club, I think you'd be great.
I'm trying to hit that once every 15-year attendance, but
yeah.
But no, thank you for having me, and I've gone to a couple of the raffles on the Jay Fulman bus, and that's always fun. But I'm a volunteer firefighter, so if John calls in the middle of the night, I got to respond to him. So I'm a busy guy outside of work, but yeah, thank you for having us.
I don't want you to write on the wood, but the next time you're doing scientific research, you can use this coveted rotary pen to jot down your research.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Okay, Team August, we can leave the tables and chairs up. There's a celebration of life here tomorrow, so they asked us to leave them up. Lisa Marie, thank you for joining us again. It's nice to see you. Thank you, Scott. Did he scoot out? Oh, don't forget to go see him at the museum on Saturday. And then happy anniversary. Phil and Tamara left too, but Betta stayed. So happy anniversary. Do we have any other announcements for the good of the order? No? Oh.
Country Meadow Village is having their summer barbecue this Saturday, you guys. Jenny and the Tomcats are playing. It's awesome.
All right. No worries. Oh, and I also, Sandra, I found a QR code that I'll email out to everybody, and it goes directly to the Maui Rotary clubs. So I'll send that out. Perfect. Good. So just keep that in mind. So it's time for the joke. I know that's why you guys all stayed. So there's a young boy sitting near a very pregnant woman, and the little boy asked, "Why do you look so fat?" The woman replied, "I have a baby inside of me." And the boy then asked, "Is it a good baby?" To which the woman answered, "Yes, it's a very good baby." Surprised, the boy exclaimed, "Then why did you eat it?"